Welcome back to News Talk, 16 before the hour now. President Obama maintains he will nominate someone for the Supreme Court vacancy created by the death of Justice Antonin Scalia. But will his selection be DOA? Republicans in the Senate say they will not even meet with the man or woman the president nominates. Washington Post reporter Mike DeBonis is covering the story. Joins us now. Mike, great to have you aboard as always. Talk about what it is that has Republicans in the Senate so united. They will not meet with, nor will they vote upon, the person President Obama nominates to serve on the Supreme Court.
Sure. Thanks, Bruce, for having me. What Republicans say is that they're acting out of principle, not out of opposition to any particular nominee. They believe that in an election year that we're far enough along in the process of selecting the next president that next president should in fact have the opportunity to replace Antonin Scalia. One of the things they have pointed to repeatedly in recent days is the statements that Democrats have made previously when they controlled the Senate, and there was a Republican president where they made similar suggestions that in an election year the process of the nomination should wait till the next president and not the current president. Obviously now Democrats very vehemently disagree with that. President Obama, they say, was elected for a 4-year term. He's barely into his 4th year. There's plenty of time to nominate, take up, and confirm a nominee, and they believe Republicans should do so. But what we saw yesterday is that Republicans are not interested in even starting the process of looking at a nominee. The Judiciary Committee said, the Republicans on the committee have said unanimously that they will not hold hearings. Several top Republicans said they aren't even inclined to meet with the nominee should they come by their offices. So they don't even want to start having this conversation, let alone get down the road and feel obligated to hold an up or down vote on that person.
So we understand where the two sides are. The president and his team are now at work. Presumably they have something of a short list, and they're going through the people, the list of people that they think would be good. Ultimately, one name will come. The Senate, the Republican leadership in the Senate determined to basically act as though the president has not nominated anyone, he's not taken any action. And then the issue will be, will external forces, will there be any external pressure to push either side from its stance? And I guess, Mike, the Republicans in the Senate are betting that they will have their base and maybe others on their side, and they'll just keep on keeping on in terms of a rope-a-dope and have it be the next president who fills the vacancy, even though we're talking basically 12 months from now.
Right, and the Republican base is really what's driving this. They have been very forthright and emphatic in saying there's no way we can let President Obama nominate the successor to Antonin Scalia, this icon of conservative jurisprudence. We absolutely have to give that, give the opportunity for hopefully a President Rubio or a President Cruz or a President Trump even to nominate this next justice. On the other hand, the Democrats are just, politically speaking, are salivating over this. They believe that that if Republicans stick to this strategy, they'll be able to hammer the numerous Republican incumbents who are up for election this year in tough races. They'll be able to argue that they're obstructing the constitutional prerogative of the president and make Supreme Court nominations. And if they believe that if Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell relents and allows a nomination to move forward, that will touch off a civil war in the Republican ranks, and that it will only increase the amount of internal GOP dysfunction, and that would have benefits for the Democrats down the road.
Republicans have been going back through history looking for statements made by Democratic senators at a time when there was a Republican in the Oval Office to sort of buttress the general point that they are making. I guess one difference in terms of some of the things they have found, statements they have found that might prove inconvenient for the White House at this moment, is that in the past there was vague talk of what could happen in a hypothetical sense. What we're seeing from Republicans now given that there's about to be a nominee who will, I guess, go unacted upon for a year, is that this is not a hypothetical. This is sort of an unprecedented actual act, contrasted with bluster or threats or what have you, or suggestions that a Joe Biden or whomever, Chuck Schumer, might have made decades ago.
Right. On both sides, there have been, statements from the past, in some cases years, in some cases decades in the past, that have been brought up to illustrate hypocrisy. That's been true on both sides, and these statements have typically been made in the most politically convenient way for the situation of the times. But you're right. In terms of an actual vacancy, election year vacancy on the Supreme Court, this has not happened in many, many years. In particular, the case where you have a president of one party and a Senate majority of the other party. The last time that a vacancy was election year vacancy was filled under that scenario was 1888 under President Grover Cleveland. You certainly had Supreme Court nominees confirmed in a presidential year under that scenario. Most recently, Anthony Kennedy in 1988. However, that vacancy would have been created the year prior, and of course came after the very high-profile rejections of Robert Bork and the withdrawal of Douglas Ginsburg for that seat. So, the precedent, nothing really fits super well in the modern era in terms of precedent. What is unprecedented in the modern era would be to have a nominee who is nominated and is willing to serve and is seeking confirmation and being denied a hearing by the Judiciary Committee.
Your story is... I'm sorry, I was just going to say your story's on page 1 of the paper today, about page 1 above the fold with Paul Kane, and you say the Republican decision to act, they insist, was based on constitutional principle and born of a necessity to protect the will of the American people. I've been struck in the last couple of days by the analysis, by the analysts who have said, forget all that, both sides. We're now at a point in our history or what have you where this is about brute force. If the roles were reversed, the positioning would probably be reversed. This is about getting what you feel is right and let the niceties and claims of acting on principle, yada yada, throw all that in the garbage. We're quite far removed from that.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this is going to come down to the raw politics of the situation. You have a president who is, yes, a lame duck president, and yes, and you have a Senate majority that is dealing with its own internal politics, but at the end of the day has a significant majority and has the power to block a confirmation. The question is, what is going to change those dynamics? And the biggest thing that could change those dynamics is the identity of the nominee. When we see the face and the name and the record, the pressure is going to increase on Republicans, assuming this is someone who's well qualified. Might even be someone who's groundbreaking demographically. Could be the first African American woman. Could be the first Latino man. Could be the first gay American to be nominated to the court. And if they deny that person a hearing or even a courtesy meeting, it could become quite uncomfortable.
And at that point, it might become less theoretical and more real. But for the moment, it appears that Republicans in the Senate are quite united. There's been talk of one senator here or there saying, well, we should at least vote. The pressure being on those red senators in blue states, the Republican senators in Democratic states up for re-election this time, who will be awfully fascinating to watch in the days and weeks ahead. That's where we'll leave it for now, though. Mike DeBonis of the Washington Post, calling in from Capitol Hill. As always, we appreciate your time very much. We'll talk with you again.
Yep. Thanks, Bruce.
Well, we are back with a program note right after this.